Week 37 Day 1. A Man of Nature. Henry Thoreau attempted to confront the problem and solve the enigma of how one might earn a living and yet not become an ignominious slave to the task. He viewed the Industrial Revolution with antipathy. Man in a servile role to extraneous possessions was a main target of his writings. He believed that one could attain genuine wealth not by accumulating objects or money, but through enjoyment and perusal of nature. By his own volition he gave up friends and comforts for a 2-year sojourn by himself at Walden Pond. What others might judge as penury was seen by Thoreau as the epitome of wealth. Sample sentences. 1. He found his servile position a degrading one and could not accept it with equanimity. 2. The expatriate decided to make his sojourn in France a permanent one in order to give up his nomadic way of life. 3. Why do we refuse to confront the unsavory problems of our times in a candid and incisive way? 4. He was a tenacious competitor, and at his own volition he placed his title in jeopardy on many occasions. 5. Her antipathy towards men was based on rather nebulous events that she construed to prove that they were all perfidious. Week 37 Day 2. The Good Life. Thoreau's book about the austere but happy life at Walden Pond propagated his fame around the world. He built a small hut and began living an ascetic existence. He found it to be a felicitous experience. In this idyllic setting he was able to spend his time reading, studying nature, writing, and thinking. Far from being indolent, he kept busy in many ways. At the end of the experiment he recalled the halcyon days with pleasure. He believed he had learned the secret of the truly happy life. The only tenable way of life is one in harmony with nature. Material possessions are superfluous. Sample sentences. 1. When he found his sinecure was no longer tenable, he felt it a propitious time to resign. 2. Far from being ostentatious, she was considered the acme of fashion because of her austere manner of dress. 3. Because he was an itinerant worker, he had to disdain carrying superfluous equipment. 4. On that felicitous occasion the amount of money he spent was irrelevant. 5. During the turbulent days of the war, they wished for the halcyon days of earlier times. Week 37 Day 3. The Mind's Secrets. The study of the human mind and behavior has had many prominent practitioners, but no one is more revered than Sigmund Freud. An Austrian physician, he is said to be the father of psychoanalysis. He taught that man has a subconscious mind in which he keeps repugnant memories that come to the surface surreptitiously and motivate behavior. Man often tries to rationalize his actions, when, in reality, they are really the result of suppressed memories coming to the surface. Freud's approach to the disturbed person was to attempt therapy by examining the dreams that make cognizant what the cause of the illness might be. Only with the airing of deleterious, buried emotions can the person move from the nascent stage to that of full health. Freud was considered an iconoclast in the field of psychology when his ideas first appeared at the beginning of the 20th century. Sample sentences. 1. The iconoclast was in favor of jettisoning one of the traditions that had become an intrinsic part of his life. 2. In order to complete the therapy, the doctor said a trip to a warm, dry climate was mandatory. 3. Complacent people are difficult to motivate to altruistic actions. 4. It is pathetic the way some citizens rationalize their apathy during election years. 5. His beard was in its nascent state, it would soon be a hirsute masterpiece. Week 37 Day 4. Amateur psychologists. The ideas of Freudian psychology have become part of our everyday life. Our language is replete with clichés that have their origin in Freud's writings. There is a surfeit of amateur psychologists who, with celerity, analyze an individual's problems from the slightest evidence. Despite their dubious education and training in this field, they discuss symptoms and cures on a most erudite fashion. Should a person express a fear of heights, this phobia is examined, events from childhood are considered germane to the problem. Is it possible he or she was dropped as an infant? Perhaps something in a dream is pertinent to explain the feelings of vertigo that accompany height. For some reason, non-trained people find the Freudian approach to the workings of the human mind most conducive to their practicing as amateur psychologists. Sample sentences. 1. She could not countenance the sight of a lethal weapon, it was tantamount to a phobia with her. 2. The erudite man was more than merely bilingual, he spoke 5 languages. 3. I would never have the temerity to walk across the steel girders high up on a new building, an onset of vertigo would surely follow. 4. The bedlam in the study hall was not conducive to good work habits. 5. Epithets are not germane when motivating a child to a task.